Okay, I'm making a quick video on few people have asked me what they can do. Um, you know, when you go to connect the XT60 from the battery packs to the motherboard, it always sparks at the XT60 end. They were asking me how they can avoid that. I was going to show you, but unfortunately this battery pack of mine is with the new MT60 connector, so I can't really show you, but we will use it for reference here. So you have two options. You can cut the XT60 male from the motherboard end, cut the XT60 that is coming out of your battery packs that plugs into the motherboard, cut that and replace them with XT90 Anti Spark. The green is for Anti Spark. There are XT90s that are not Anti Spark. So if you do decide to go that route, make sure it has the green thing on the female end. That is Anti Spark. And you can basically replace those with XT90 and that's it. You're done. Now, if you have multiple wheels, it means you would have to do that on every single wheel. Originally, that is what I was going to do, but a friend of mine, Maryland, suggested that I just make an adapter, and I will explain how this works. When you connect the XT60s together, it sparks, and the reason for that is the sudden surge of power to charge these capacitors. You can try it on your wheel, discharge the capacitors, you know, unplug these two and press the on and off button until it discharges capacitors, then plug these two XT60s back together and it will spark. And disconnect them and put them back in. It will not spark the second time because the capacitors are already charged. So this adapter enables us to do that. So what you will need is a XT60 male, XT60 female, XT90 male, XT90 Anti Spark female. And the way that will work is this. The way you should do it is make sure your adapter is not connected together. Otherwise, if you connect them together to start with, and then you plug, you know, this side to your battery lead, and then this side to your motherboard, is still going to spark because the last part of the connection is still XT60, so it's still going to spark. So the way it works, this adapter, the two halves must be separated. And what you will do, you will put your you will plug in the XT60 to the battery lead, and you will plug this end to here, and then you will connect these two halves together. Now the final connection is at the XT90, and because of the anti-spark, it will not spark. You will connect it together, right? Just imagine first you connect this. Remember, the last part has to be the XT90. You connect it together, you wait about 5 seconds, and the capacitors get charged. Then you can go ahead and unplug, and plug your battery back into your motherboard. Because the capacitors are already charged, it is not going to make the spark. Now, if you want, you can just leave this in the wheel, but we all know in the Bigode wheels, it is a bit of a cluster of wires around the motherboard. There's not much space, and as short as you can make this is still going to be, you know, a bit too long and cumbersome in there. So that's why I take this out. And then I can use this adapter on my other wheels when I work on them. So what you will need to make that is lengths of wire. And make sure you get silicone wire because they're flexible and they're just better wires. You can use 14 gauge for this part. 14 gauge is fine, and it makes it easier to solder onto the XT60s. You can go 12 gauge, but you really don't need to, unless you're gonna leave it in the wheel. And don't forget, all these wires from the batteries are 14 gauge wires anyway. So let me double check and make sure I'm not lying. Yeah, 14 gauge out of the battery and 14 gauge. So you can use 14 gauge, lengths of 14 gauge wire, and that is up to you how long you want this thing to be. That's up to you. You'll need that. You'll need the XT60 female, XT60 male, XT90 male, XT90 Anti Spark female. Then you will use the XT60 female and you will solder it onto XT90 male. So XT60 female into XT90 male, then XT60 male into XT90 female. That's it. So remember, these two must be separated. And then you will go this into the motherboard, then this end onto your battery lead, and then the XT90s together. That is the important part, and it won't spark. Hope that helped. If it didn't, sorry about wasting your time. Tally ho.